You've probably heard this a lot lately, that the market is going to be flooded with new homes. So the big question is, with so much supply upcoming, should you wait to buy? Let's walk through some of the numbers and case studies because the truth is more nuanced than most people think. So this is a recent article from the Straits Times that reported that over 80,000 new homes are expected to come onto the market. And for a lot of buyers, the first thought is, if there are many units coming up, prices must fall eventually, right? I guess that's a totally valid concern, but just looking at the volume doesn't give us the full picture. So here's what the article actually says. These 80,000 homes is spread across 10 areas and over the next 10 to 15 years. So it isn't a sudden flood, it is more of a staggered rollout across time, location and project types. So that's why the fear of oversupply often creates hesitation but not always an opportunity. To explain this better, let's look at a real example. Lentor was a perfect case study. There were 6 land plots launched at the same area, all within a short time, all brand new, all expected to TOP around the same period. So what happens when developers know there's going to be competition? They feel the pressure, and that pressure leads them to price more competitively at launch just to secure early sales. So we compare this to Amo Residence. Amo Residence was launched at a time where there are no new launch supply nearby and the market was hungry and the developer had no competition. The result, the launch price was strong at 2,306 PSF. Now look at Lentor Modern, which is one of the first project launched in the whole of Lentor area. And with that many upcoming supply, the launch price came to around 1,800 PSF range, which is around 469 per square foot lower. So why is this happening? Because the developers had to be mindful of their upcoming competition. And the pressure did not stop there, So the Lentor Hills residence, which was launched right after Lentor Modern, pricing was even more competitive. It was priced at around 1,850 per square foot, which is 523 per square foot lower than Lentor Modern's price at the point of 2023. Again, this isn't due to the lack of demand. It was more of a strategic move where developers were pricing for survival, not greed. But here is what's more important. They actually bounced back. So Lentor Modern, right, today is actually transacting about 2,436 per square foot, which is around 599 per square foot higher than the lowest launch price. Lentor Hills also the same, now at about $2,271 per square foot, only $437 per square foot higher than the lowest launch. And even Hillock Green, which was the cheapest among the launches, is now at $2,400 per square foot, $413 per square foot higher than the lowest launch price. So the early pricing window, it really didn't last very long, and buyers who actually waited end up paying more. So where are the opportunities now? So we look at the River Valley area, right? There are many upcoming sites which are about to launch and developers are actually watching each other very closely. And that means stress pricing may happen again, just like in Lentor. If you could recognize it earlier and you could enter at a better price before the momentum kicks in and the pricing goes up. So if you're wondering what the future prices look like, let's take a look at Bayshore as a benchmark. With the upcoming launches at Bayshore, which is at the OCR region, estimating to start from 2,700 per square foot. Let's pause to think about that. OCR Bayshore at 2,700 per square foot. And in the CCR River Valley, it's also launching at 2,700 per square foot. If both projects are priced the same, which one will you choose? An OCR location that is further from the city, or a CCR address minutes away from Orchard and Robertson Quay? This is why I say the opportunity is in recognizing these market inefficiencies before the rest of the market catches on. But when it comes to buying in River Valley, you have to be very, very careful because we need to take advantage of this thing called harmonization. There is an assumption that harmonized project prices would be cheap. But let's take a look at some examples. Even though they are fairly similar in terms of product, Technically speaking, the difference is pretty minor, with just 1 square meters difference in the master bedroom and 2 square meters in the living, dining and the foyer area. So if we compare both projects on the same level, right, the difference in pricing is actually 295,000. Buyers who are able to understand this distinction are able to spot this difference and act on them, knowing that Emerald of Katong will be a better deal. So does this mean that all harmonized projects will offer a better deal? Let's look at another example right now. Here we compare the 667 square feet at Tembusu Grand and 624 square feet unit here at Emerald of Katong, with a difference of only 43 square feet. And when you put the two layouts side by side, again there isn't a very significant difference. 1 square meter larger in the master bedroom at Tembusu Grand, and to be honest, that's about it. And similar layout comparisons show a 32,000 difference in price, even when both floor plans feels almost identical and at the same level. So this isn't really about quality, it's really about timing and harmonization status. So now, why does harmonization even matter? Because the government actually introduced this rule to improve livability in private housing. In the past, some developers would design units with a lot of unusable space, like oversized aircon ledges, bay windows, or even planters, and they include those in the official sizes. On paper, you were paying lesser per square foot, yes, but in reality, your usable living space is actually much smaller. So harmonization forces these developers to include these livable areas in the total saleable area, which gives buyers a more accurate sense of what they are paying for and ensure that spaces are practical and livable. So why am I talking about this? It is because it is very likely that the upcoming new launches in the River Valley will follow this harmonization rule. And if we want to guess what some of their layouts might look like, let's look at the most recent harmonized project, one of the examples being Emerald of Katong. To make a fair price comparison for River Valley's upcoming launches, let's take Emerald of Katong as a reference point and compare it to Irwell Hill Residence, which is a recent project in River Valley that has already completed. So here is what we see. A 624 square feet at Emerald of Katong, they transacted at 1.872 million, while a 678 square feet at Irwell Hill went for around 2.05 million. That is roughly the difference of 178,000 for similar sized 2-bedroom units. And Irwell Hill is already in the core central region. So then again, smart buyers aren't just chasing for the cheapest project. They are looking for where the layouts, price per square foot, and overall livability comes together, and where pricing gaps have not fully closed that, and that is where you find the value. So what's the takeaway here? Yes, 80,000 homes are coming into the pipeline, but they will be rolled out over more than a decade. And what we have seen from Lentor is this: developer stress creates short-term window, but prices do bounce back fast. If you are planning to wait for the flood, just know that you might be watching the market from outside while the prices quietly climbs again. Let me know if you'd like to dive into some numbers or compare with a few live projects, because if timing is everything, then recognizing early stress might be your biggest edge. And you can reach out to me via my contact methods below, and you can also join my Telegram channel for more property updates, and I'll see you in the next one.